Okay, so the day is currently the 31st of December. And that means tomorrow is 2025. That's very exciting. So we're on the cusp of a new year. And a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I made a video just based off some journaling exercise that I did, where I just kind of wrote down a bunch of my goals for the new year. And it's the first time I've done anything of this kind at all. So I didn't really know what to do for it. And in some sense, it was quite a badly informed way to set goals or whatever. But I just wrote down a bunch of things where I just thought, if I do this year, in some sense, this year won't be a waste of time. And I would have done something to, in some sense, move things forwards. And I've really taken that philosophy with everything I do. You know, every day that I wake up in the morning, I think to myself, what could I do today that wouldn't be a complete waste of time? You know, and that is often all you need to say to yourself, really, to get productive. So I wrote down a bunch of things, and I didn't have much of an idea about how to achieve them and stuff like that, but I just thought this is something. And depending on how much of this stuff I get done, I can say, it's been a good year, it's been a bad year, you know. More than anything, I just wanted some sort of data of like how this year could go. Because that's the thing, I got to the end of 2023 and I just kind of thought to myself, like, I don't really know if it's been a good year or a bad year, you know, because I haven't had any goals, let alone properly thought out goals. I just haven't had any goals full stop. So I just thought, this is one thing that I need to do. So in this video, I'm going to go through my goals for 2025 that I've written down on my phone. But before we do that, I want to go through the original goals from 2024 that I had. I'm just going to go over them and see how I've done. Got a little espresso here from this nice little mug that I just picked up in Cyprus. Okay, let's go. Goals for 2024. Number one. The first thing I wanted to do was release some content for Dubrovnik. Now, this is basically the name of a sort of TV show that I made during lockdown. This is kind of a fun little idea for a TV show that I had. And I made it, I sort of wrote a script for it in lockdown, basically. And I never really did anything with it. But I always had it in my mind to do something with it. And I thought one thing I could do is just release some content for it. Release like a scene or a sort of hypothetical trailer or a whole episode, you know. And this TV show would be kind of animated. So it didn't really require actors or anything like that. It just required me to edit stuff on the computer. And yeah, so anyway, I just thought if I put something out on YouTube or Vimeo or something like that, that was just a completed thing that I'd animated, that would be a fantastic success. And this is something that I have done. I have released some content for Dubrovnik. I made a small YouTube channel. Maybe I'll add a little link in the description if you guys are interested. I made a small YouTube channel where I released one video or a couple of videos of just like specific scenes of the comic and one reel. And yeah, I haven't done much with it at all. You know, like I said, ideally a full episode. I haven't got around to releasing a full episode, but I have released some content for Dubrovnik. Okay, that's great. Fantastic. Next thing, go to Moldova and film some travel content there. That I have done. I went to Moldova after I left my sales job, which was the job that I was doing when I was in when I recorded this last video. And yeah, filmed some content for that. Wasn't the most successful content I ever put out on the channel, but I did go and do it. I did manage to I had a bit of Russian that I could use to communicate and stuff like that. So brilliant, done that. Second thing, go to Greece, film some content, and practice my Greek. So this I haven't done. And this is a good example of like what's going to happen for a lot of this is I haven't done, but I'm not necessarily annoyed at myself that I haven't done it. And the reason is, when I wrote that, there are lots of ideas for other videos on my travel YouTube. Basically, just for context, I make travel vlogs on another YouTube channel. And yeah, one of my ideas was to go to Greece. But since then, I've had lots of other ideas about YouTube videos to make. And one of them was to go not to Greece, but specifically to Cyprus. The reason being, there's a very interesting situation there where you've got the sort of southern side, if you like, and then the northern side, which one's ruled by there's a kind of Turkish-speaking side and a Greek-speaking side. And I thought this was all very interesting, and I wanted to go there. And I thought about, because I remember that I had this idea to go to Greece originally, but then I thought, no, going to Cyprus would be better. I still do want to go to Greece and film some travel content at some point when I've got the funds to be able to do that, or when I've got the location freedom or whatever. So it's still in there. I'm just going to sort of push that along to 2025, basically. So the next thing is learn a bit of Welsh or Irish and film some language content in Wales or Ireland, brackets, or even in Scotland. So this is another funny one that I haven't really achieved completely. I have gone to Wales, but I haven't gone to Ireland. So in a sense, that's good. I've completed it, but the trouble is it's not a very well-defined goal, obviously, because it's kind of vague. Having an or in a goal doesn't really work. So I've kind of completed that, but in some sense, not really. But I have done a bit of it. So I've done kind of half of that goal, so that's good. And maybe, like with the Greece in the new year, I will try and go to Ireland at some point and film some videos there. I'm kind of less worried about it than I am about the Greece. I've become less interested in the Celtic languages lately. There are other stuff that I'd probably rather make on the channel, but is what it is. So that's one of them. The next one is be rid of dull pains in my legs, bow posture in my spine, and tenseness in my chest. So this is just something that I recognised when I was working in sales, was like I had lots of I was carrying lots of tension on my body that was really quite inconvenient. Like I had quite tense sort of hips. I didn't really realise at the time, but quite tense hips, and I found it quite difficult to stand up for long durations of time without getting quite uncomfortable. Like when we were at work, we'd have sort of speeches that people would give in the morning, and we'd all stand up for it. And I really recognised, like after about 5 minutes, I really wanted to like lean on something or sort of jam all my tension into one leg because it was quite uncomfortable. And I wanted to be rid of this. And I noticed like it was having issues with my posture as well and stuff like that. So that was something that I wanted to do, is to get rid of this tension that I was carrying. And basically the way to do that is to become more flexible by doing stuff like stretching and yoga. And this is another thing that I haven't actually done. I still have the same pains in my body, but I've definitely moved a little bit closer to solving it. I bought this kind of course quite recently that was basically this sort of hip opening course where it basically just taught you about all the muscles in your hips and how to stretch them. And I'm still not in a position where I can say my hips are like where I want them to be or whatever, but I can tell that I'm on the right path. And if I keep doing what I'm doing at the moment of stretching every day, I'll eventually reach a point where my hips are really opened, and that will go a huge way to solving the sort of tension in my body. It won't solve everything, I'll still have a bit of bow posture, a bit of tension in my chest and stuff like that I'll have to sort out. Might have to look into buying some other programs or just researching on YouTube and stuff like that. But I have made a significant step in the right direction, so that's another good thing. So the next thing that I put is be able to do Yoga Nidra effectively to reset if I'm feeling tired and worn out. Now this is one thing that I just haven't made any progress in whatsoever. Like I don't really practice Yoga Nidra very much. And yeah, when I do, I sometimes try it every now and again, just so if I want to feel relaxed, but it still feels quite superficial, the effect it has on me. I wouldn't say it's enormous, like the difference it makes. And yeah, is what it is. That's just one thing that I haven't succeeded in doing. Part of why I did this is because I knew I would fall short. You know, we are all sinful beings. At the end of the day, we all fall short of our potential. But at least now I know, okay, this is where I'm falling short. That's something I can work on. Be able to meditate better. Again, basically, I haven't really made any significant progress in that. I get slightly more out of meditation than I had before. There have been a few times where I've done a few things with meditation that have helped a little bit. You know, one thing I do at the moment when I practice meditation is sometimes just doing it with my eyes open, kind of just focus on something. And I have found that being very helpful. I've spoken to a few people in the sort of meditation niche who have given me some advice that has been insightful and stuff like that. So I'll say that there's sort of been a 1 to 5% increase in how effective meditation is for me. But on the whole, I still wouldn't say, yeah, I really am making progress with meditation. Okay, next one. Hit 100 subscribers on the main channel, which is this channel. I have done this. I hit 100 subscribers about in the summer, a few months ago. At the time, I was uploading every day. And then suddenly I went away on holiday with my family and I had a bunch of videos to edit for my travel vlogging channel. So suddenly I wasn't uploading every day. And while that happened, a lot of my videos just suddenly started gaining a lot of subscribers. I did hit 100 subscribers, so that was great news. And it's really not very much, 100 subscribers. And, you know, I'm not that happy with it, really, in the grand scheme of things. Because it's really, you've got to keep at it and whatever. But at the time, I can't remember how many subscribers I had. I think I had about 50, something like that. At the time, it felt like a really big deal to hit 100 subscribers. So in a sense, that's still fantastic news that I've been able to achieve that. And yeah, I mean, we'll look at my goals in the future. I'm going to look for higher goals next year. Now here I've just basically had some friends that I wanted to get on the podcast that I do and have a discussion with him. Again, this one I just haven't done. Like, I sent him a message at some point. We were talking about doing it, and then you know how it is with texts. We kind of, just didn't follow it up, and eventually, that hasn't happened. I'd like to have that happen in the future, but I've got to get on that if that's really realistically going to happen. But yeah, so there we go, is what it is. The next one, get one more famous person on the podcast. Now this one, so basically at the time of writing this, I had recently done a podcast with this guy called Luke Ranieri, who is this Latin YouTuber basically, who does lots of content in Latin. He speaks in Latin, he makes YouTube videos in Latin, and he makes English language videos about Latin, and he's a really interesting chap. He's really inspired my interest in Latin and stuff. I sent him an email one time in Latin, funnily enough, just because I thought, use what you've got. And I managed to get in touch with him, and we had a conversation and uploaded it on YouTube. It was the first video I did that got 1,000 views. And that was really exciting. That was a huge achievement. That was like one of the biggest achievements that I did in 2023. And at the time I thought, wouldn't it be great if I just got one more famous person on the podcast? In a certain field, someone who's got like quite a big following on social media, not just like my mate who I have an interesting chat with, which is what a lot of my podcasts are. And I didn't spend a lot of time doing this. I did reach out to this chap called Ryan Horgan, who he made one video that was like really sort of blew up, where basically, you've probably heard of it if you're into self-improvement videos. It was called like Hamza is clueless about women or something like that. And even if you haven't watched it, you've probably seen it somewhere on your feed. And this is just a big video that he made around the time that I think Hamza was doing some. I think at the time that Hamza broke up with his girlfriend or whatever, and he got a lot of traction from it. And he's sort of been making videos ever since that sort of expound more widely his philosophy about life and whatever. And I got in touch with him, and I was able to do a podcast with him. But when I did it, I basically didn't have any sound recording. So I've got like a video of me talking to this YouTuber, Ryan Horgan, but there's no sounds. So that's really annoying. So to be honest, I would say this is one that I've made sort of meaningful progress towards, but yeah, I can't in good faith like tick that off and say, yeah, because it's not uploaded on the podcast and whatever. So yeah, I told him afterwards, I was really apologetic about it, and he was very nice about it. He said, don't worry, man, these things happen. And he said, look, yeah, let's do one in the future, and we're going to try and reorganise to do one sometime soon. So yeah, that is what it is. Next one is consistent early rising. So I wanted to basically get in the habit of getting up early consistently. And it's very difficult, because what does that really mean? I've not really got any clear sort of, it's not really measurable, that thing. But I would say the spirit in which I wrote that down has been fulfilled. I do think I am getting up consistently quite early. At the moment, I'm in a difficult position where I'm working in a bar, which requires me to work quite late, which is really annoying actually. And as a result, I don't get up super early. I get up about 9 o'clock. I got up at about 9 today. But normally I aim for around 8 o'clock, even if it means I get slightly less sleep, just because I think there's something so valuable about getting up that little bit earlier. But when I've been working more regular hours, I've been working a 9 to 5 or something like that. Or to be honest, even when I've just been in between jobs, like there've been a few times this year where I've been in between jobs, and I've just been getting up really early during that. Like there was a kind of period between my last job and the job I'm doing at the moment. And in that time, I was basically just had a load of YouTube videos to edit for my vlogging channel. And I just basically got up at 5 o'clock every morning and just spent the whole day editing videos. I loved it. It was like a really great time. And eventually I had to go and get another job, as you do. But I do think this is like more than just I would say in 2023 and 2022, like I was kind of getting up early sometimes, but I wasn't really confident that I was an early riser. But I really do think I'm starting to make headway with it. And when there were some times in my last job where I was literally getting up at like 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was like the summer and it was pitch black outside, and I'd just go and sit on a bench and in the park and just watch the sun rise. And yeah, so I do think generally speaking I am headed in the right direction with early rising. Okay, achieve a borderline elite level of sleep. Again, this one I just haven't done. Like my sleep's not fantastic, I'll be honest. I do take a lot of measures to try and get good sleep, but I still am unhappy with the sort of level of sleep, like how sort of refreshed I am by my sleep. I have identified a few things that I think are causing this, which I have made some videos about. I think a lot of it is to do with my diet. I think a lot of it's to do with, again, like my posture. I think I tend to sort of end up sleeping on my stomach in not very comfortable positions, and that's very bad for your sleep. I think some of it is I need to still my mind a bit more by meditation and stuff like that. I think some of it is spending enough time doing really meaningful work. recently I went to Cyprus to film some vlogs there, like I said, and it's really weird because I look back on those videos and I don't look very well slept. And, during that time I was sleeping in hostels, I was, not really getting very good sleep. How hostels are, someone walks in the middle of the night and wakes you up. You got to wait till everyone turns the light off to go to bed. I just never really sleep very well in hostels for whatever reason. I wasn't eating very well. I was just, stopping off at cafes and having a quick sandwich. It wasn't really good for my sleep schedule. I wasn't stretching after long days walking around and stuff like that. But one thing I did notice is I woke up and I felt really refreshed every day. And I think that's because I was doing something meaningful. Like I was working towards my goals of like making this YouTube video, and the whole day I was in like a flow state of feeling really focused, and I was going around doing stuff, and it was really. And I'd go back home and I'd edit the videos, and it was really sort of exciting time. And I would hit the pillow at the end of the day, and my brain would be like, okay, you've done enough today. You can have some sleep. And I do think I was reaching a level of sleep that I wasn't when I was working in my previous job, like in a 9 to 5, where, I was still working towards my goals, but like most of the day was taken up by just stuff that wasn't sort of meaningful. And you're never going to get like a good level of sleep doing that. So I think I have identified some things to work on next year to carry forward. Next thing is go on lots of dates and generally get like a good confidence about my dating life. So that I'll be honest, like dating is just one thing that I've just really neglected for a while. Like for 2023 and 2022 and 2023, I was largely, I didn't really have much going on with my dating life. And I wasn't massively proactive about it. And then I sort of got into this sort of self-improvement thing. I sort of went on monk mode for a bit. And then after that, I was working in this sales job that just kind of took up all my time. So yeah, I wasn't really like seeing many girls. I wanted to sort of do something about that because I do think like dating you should date basically as soon as you can. Like you shouldn't wait to cash out with dating. It's not one of those things that you can do. The same way that you can kind of with business and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to sort of get to grips with this, and I sort of moved to Oxford, and I had sort of a less intense job now, which sort of, I didn't have to work on weekends and stuff like that. So I thought to myself, like, brilliant, this is a great time to just really double down on dating. And I did this, like the way I did this, I just started cold approaching girls, like just walking up to girls and just asking for their number basically. And obviously you get a lot of rejections, you get a lot of embarrassing situations where you're like, it doesn't go the way you want. But I did get a few successes, and I went out with a few girls that I was like, yeah, great, I'm actually getting somewhere with this. And since then, I've towards the end of this year, I've even had like some proper things where I've been seeing someone for a bit, and like life gets in the way, so certain things happen that I'm quite willing to sort of let it be what it is and whatever. But I haven't had like a thing like that for like basically since university, like the second year of university. And even then, like that was like not a very good relationship. Like this is like much better. So I do think I'm on the right track with dating. So yeah, I'm going to take that one. I mean, there is always more to be done, but yeah. Okay, next one is have a direction with my career. I don't really have a direction with my career massively, because I don't really know how things are going to pan out. What I will say though is I do have a lot more of a clear idea of goals that I want to achieve, and how I could possibly earn a living doing that. After university, like I got very inspired by a lot of this sort of thing of escaping the 9 to 5. Like I don't know why, but for some reason I've always wanted something more than the 9 to 5. I've always wanted, for a while I really wanted to be a musician, and I feel like a lot of that was coming from I wanted to just do something that wasn't just a job. I wanted to have some like wider sort of thing to my life, and for a while that was sort of music. And yeah, after that I sort of got more into business and started thinking about like making a lot of money. That seemed like a good thing to do. And then I sort of got out of university. I just had absolutely no idea what sort of career to get into, and I just ended up plumping for this sales job. Just because I thought it was just literally like really like not a prestigious job at all. Like I could have gotten some kind of grad scheme, some kind of proper like worked in like some nice skyscraper or something, some nice sort of trendy part of London or whatever, working some sort of cool job. But I didn't. I decided to get some job that was just this entry level sales job where you were doing door to door sales. And it was a bit of a crazy idea, but that was just the best thing I had, because I just thought this is something in the right direction of what I want. It just seemed like a lot of people whose life I wanted had spent some time doing sales. And I just felt like if I kept going in this direction, I was going to find something. So I did that, and I left that. I did it for a while, and then I thought this is just really shady. For a while I thought like it was really fun and I wanted to keep doing it, but you'll know if you've worked in these kind of jobs before, like the industry is just really bad, and it's just very sort of dodgy, and like a lot of like it's a very bad sort of industry, basically, like a lot of door-to-door sales. So eventually I sort of I just left it. And after that, then I really had like a sort of existential crisis where I sort of moved back home with my parents. And for a while I was like, oh great, I'm going to find like a normal job and, get back on it. And then it just suddenly like, I don't really know where it came from, but this kind of existential dread just kind of hit me. And I just felt like really sad. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And it was just awful. And anyway, eventually I kind of scraped myself together and I got a job in this random industry that just had nothing to do with my skills. I was basically working in tax in this 9 to 5 job. But yeah, anyway, I still had like no idea what I wanted to do with my life and stuff like that. But I recognised that, okay, there's a few sort of broad projects that I want to do. This YouTube, the other YouTube channel. And I just set some goals about doing that. I set some goals for the travel vlog YouTube channel. I thought, okay, I'm going to have a list of videos that I'm going to make that, are going to take a certain amount of time to make. And after that, then we can have a conversation. And right now I'm on the tail end of kind of finishing those few videos. And now I'm sort of setting new goals off that. I've decided like the travel vlog channel is what I find really fun. It's what I think has the most potential to grow. So that's what I'm going to invest my time into. In terms of wider career, I will probably go back into university and do a law degree, do a sort of law conversion, just because it's very employable and law's a good industry to be in and stuff like that, and it aligns well with my skills. Or I will find some other job in the next few months, year or so, that I really like, and decide to invest in that. So it sort of remains to be seen. But that's kind of my direction with my career. I don't really, like, when I wrote that down, I kind of had like a thing of like, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. Like that's what I kind of wanted to think. But I do, the spirit of it, I kind of think is there. Like I do feel like I know where I'm going in the next even year, to be honest. Like I know where I'm going for the next year. It's just going to be keep doing the travel videos while not completely jeopardizing the rest of my life. The next one is, this was a bit of a weird one, is sort of have high fertility. There's a big crisis with fertility at the moment that no one's talking about. And to be honest, I haven't really done this. Like, I did go to something where they test your fertility and stuff like that, and they said like, it was quite vague as to like what the answer was. Like, they said like, basically it's kind of okay. It's calm. Like, but I didn't really get like a strong understanding of like how, like what measurements and whatever are going on there. So I think this year, I wouldn't say like I've 100% done that. I would say this year I'm probably going to go back, get some more hard data about it, and make a plan to optimize it. The next thing is get a shower filter. So this was a really simple one, really actionable, really easy to do. All I needed to do is just go on Amazon and spend £30 on a shower filter to put on my shower, so that I'm not getting loads of chlorine and stuff like that. And again, this one I just haven't done. That's just how it is. Some things you're not going to do. Almost there, guys. Like, yeah, almost finished. The next one, hire a hotel room and sit in quiet contemplation for 3 days, considering my purpose. Again, this one I just haven't done. Like, again, I should have got my act together and done it. I haven't done it. I will probably do it some point soon. Once I've finished editing this sort of backlog of YouTube videos. But yeah, that's something that I haven't got around to. Travel outside of Europe. Again, I haven't done that. I haven't been to, I went to Cyprus, which is kind of the Middle East, but I don't really count that, to be honest. Yeah, again, that's something that I haven't got around to doing. If the opportunity arises, go to Russia, Ukraine, or Belarus. Again, this one I just haven't done, for various reasons. Start getting rid of tenseness in jaw. Again, I haven't really done that. I do sometimes stretch out my jaw. I recognise I've got a lot of tension. I hold a lot of tension in my jaw, and yeah, I haven't done that either. Get mewing on points. I've known for a long while that mewing is like good for various things. And I'm always conscious that I'm not doing it, and I should. But yeah, again, this is one that I just haven't done. I haven't really got around to it. I don't really know where I am with it. I wouldn't say it's like top of my priorities to do at the moment, but it's definitely something I'll look into more in the future when I have the time. Second, good posture. Again, my posture isn't great. Goes back. One's kind of the same as the one about getting rid of tenseness in your legs and your chest and whatever. Again, I still wouldn't say my posture's great, but I do have a lot of protocols like the stretching. I'm wearing like a posture thingy at the moment, sort of brace. Don't know if you can see it. One of these things which really helps sort of stretch out your chest. I have like a pull-up bar and stuff like that. So I've got a few things in place, but again, my posture is not where it needs to be. That's something that I'm going to carry on to the new year. Get all the stuff in place to sustain a healthy scalp. So this is something I do have a lot of quite controversial views about sort of hair, looking after your hair and preventing baldness. I just have a strong intuitive sense that hair health is quite a fundamental indicator of your overall health. And if you're losing your hair for whatever reason, or if you've got like a receding hairline or whatever, some of that is just the inevitable facts of aging and genetics and stuff like that. But I really feel quite strongly that a lot of it is down to health things, stuff like your diet, stuff like what you're exposing your hair to. Are you washing your hair with shampoo? Are you washing your hair in chlorine, without a shower filter? Are you carrying tension in your jaw, which is sort of stretching your scalp out, stuff like that? I really strongly believe that, your hair health is like something that you should, like if you're in your 20s and you see like baldness and stuff like that, you see you've got a receding hairline. I do think a lot of it is just down to health, and like you can prevent it. It's a controversial view, and I'm not a scientist. I don't know I can't give you the data. All I can say is I have watched videos of people who know a lot more than I do, and they say this stuff. I do have a strong intuitive sense about it. And, I wouldn't say like, I would say like, I'm not super concerned about it, but I would like to get things in place that if, just in case this stuff is true, I can keep my hair. Because I think it's a blessing to have hair. And like I'd like to sustain having it for as long as I can. So I haven't really done this. Like I say, I haven't got a shower filter. I haven't got, my jaw is still quite tense. I'm not 100% there with diet yet and stuff like that. But I suppose I'm like 10% closer along the line to sorting this stuff out. And I'll probably continue doing that into the future. Make some money online. So when I wrote this last year, I hadn't made any money online ever. And since then, I can say I have made some money. Not very much, but I have made some money online. I put out a few gigs on Fiverr, and I signed up to a few tutoring platforms, and I've managed to make the total of about £45 from it, which is not a lot of money, but I think the exciting thing is just making that first dollar online, and then you can upgrade it, and then you can sort of specialize. So that was just something I'd always wanted to do, and now I can do it. One thing I have recognised though is I think the trouble is it's extremely difficult to make money online, and it's only really worth doing it if either like you really want to live in a particular place, like you want to live in Thailand, you want to live in somewhere where you need to work remotely, or you have a specific thing that you can do remotely. Like, for example, with me at the moment, I've decided I don't really want to pursue making money online too much. I'd rather spend all that time putting that into the YouTube videos. And eventually I can get to a point where that I can start advertising on it, stuff like that. I can start making money from it myself when it gets enough traction. And then I won't need to worry about making money online because I'll just be doing it from something creative. Again, that's very ambitious, but we only go around here once. Here I've got Corsica and Sardinia vids. This is again another vlog idea. I had to go to Corsica and Sardinia. Again, this is an interesting one. I'm not actually that interested in either of those places at the moment. In fact, come with me. I'll just show you. I've got a list of stuff here, like places I want to go to. You see I've done Cyprus there. I've done Moldova, whatever. I have got Corsica on there. I think it would be interesting to go at some point. But I'm not... I think I've found other places that are even more interested in going to. So I haven't got around to doing that. But it doesn't matter because there are more things that I can do. And also, I think the point I'm getting at with this, guys, the reason why I'm spending so much time talking about this is because the point with this is not like, oh, I did everything. You're allowed to change the goalposts, and a lot of this stuff, I just don't really, I wrote it down at the time. I thought it was a good idea, but then other things came up, and you're allowed to change things as they go. But the important thing is you do have some kind of thing to be okay, if you've got no idea, then this is what you do. If I hadn't had the idea to go off to Cyprus, maybe I would have gone to Corsica or I would have gone to Greece. So this isn't a hard and fast rule. You're allowed to change the goalposts, but it's just something where I'm okay, this is, if I've really got absolutely no idea, just do this. Okay. The next one is get rid of eye bags. So this is kind of similar to a lot of my health stuff. It's really weird. No matter how much sleep I get, even if I feel well rested, I always have eye bags. And I look at sort of my YouTube videos and I see it. I'm like, wow, I've got these massive eye bags on me, and it's really weird. I've just always had them, and I can't seem to be able to get rid of them. I think it probably goes back to sleep as well. I think I'm just not getting enough REM sleep or whatever. So again, that's something that I do want to improve. And yeah, that's something that I haven't really been able to solve. Again, I'll just carry that forward to next year. Be great at making the right decisions. I have got better at this actually. So one thing that I really worried about last year was I just was always very indecisive and always seemed to make sort of shit decisions. But one thing I've started doing is just whenever I'm in a situation where I'm indecisive about something, I'll just get a pad of paper out and just write down my thoughts about that, the two decisions that I've got to make. And that has helped enormously. I still wouldn't say I've solved it. You know, I still do think it's something that I have to struggle with, but I would say I've gotten a little bit better at that, so that's good. Again, gratitude journaling. Get good at gratitude journaling. I haven't got much better at this. I suppose I've realised a few things with gratitude journaling that it's more about finding something that you're grateful for rather than just making something up off the top of your head. And that has been a revelation to me. I still wouldn't say it's like a regular practice of mine that I can go to and I do it every day and stuff like that. But it's not nothing that I'll take that. I think I have got better at it. Good morning routine. Again, this is very vague. It's very difficult to sort of know if I've done that or not. What I will say is I get up very early and my general morning routine is get up very early and work on the YouTube. And that's kind of, I'm a bit of an eat the frog kind of person. I think that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good morning routine. So yeah, let's tick that off. Get rid of spots on nose and just have a clean up of my face. I have a few like things on my nose of just like spots and stuff that you just get from kind of imperfections in the face. Again, I haven't solved this. I have bought a few face creams that are meant to sort of clean it up quite recently that I'm still trying out to see if they're going to get rid of it. So I wouldn't say I've solved it, but I would say I've made significant improvement towards it. See Manchester again. Went to university in Manchester and I hadn't been back since I'd left, and I kind of missed it and I wanted to go back. I have since been to Manchester, so yes, tick that off. And then lastly, sort out Kegel muscles. So again, this is like a kind of health thing. I had this kind of weird thing where I basically always need to go for a piss. Like even if I have a little bit of water, I'll just be constantly going back and forth to the loo. And it's really annoying. And a lot of it comes back to Kegel muscles. Your Kegels are kind of these weird muscles inside your pelvic floor. To be honest, this one I haven't done anything with. I haven't. So again, that's just something that I'm going to have to carry forward to the future. And the last thing I put is make a paid course online. Again, I haven't done this. I did make a advert for a paid course on Google Ads, which I actually think is still out there somewhere, which people would see if they typed in Latin course, just to get an idea of how many people I would get if I did make a course. And I got one person click on it, I think. But nowadays, I'm not so concerned about making a course online because I don't think it's the best way to make money online. So anyway, yeah, those are my goals for 2024. Mixed bag, obviously, a lot of them I just haven't done at all. And in a sense, that's a shame, but in another sense, I'm just happy I've got some data about how this year has gone. And, how much of that did I really complete? About 40% of it, maybe. Under half of it I've completed. But it's just still something, and overwhelmingly, having gone through that, I still feel quite optimistic. I still feel quite happy. I still feel a sense of accomplishment in what I have managed to get done. So yeah, that's something. Now, let's get on to my goals for this year. So some of these goals I'm just going to carry forward. And some of them I haven't really yet. I've just sort of not put on. So the Corsica videos and stuff like that, I haven't really included on here. Okay, so these are my goals for 2025. The first thing is sort out spots on face. So again, that's just carried forward from previous year. Second one is sort out posture problems. So again, this is just broadly speaking, talking about the sort of tension I hold in my body, doing the stretches, stuff like that. Next thing is sort out hair. So again, this is just actioning more stuff with regards to taking my hair, getting rid of tension in my jaw, getting rid of getting a shower filter, continuing not to use shampoo, stuff like that. The next one is just a really random one, which just realistically probably won't happen, but you never know, which is act in a Romanian sort of crime drama. So when during lockdown, I really had a sort of phase of watching lots of I was learning Italian at the time, and I got really interested in sort of foreign crime sort of series on Netflix. There was this really good one called Suburra. And I always sort of thought to myself, I'll be good. I could play a good character in that kind of show. And for some reason I just thought I've just said a Romanian drama just kind of randomly, just a random Eastern European country. It could be an Italian drama, it could be a Russian drama, it could be an English drama. But I just thought, wouldn't that be cool if I just kind of went out to Romania and just acted in some random, learnt Romanian and just acted some random role in a Romanian drama. Again, this one's just completely off the top of my head and it's a bit random, but it's just something to sort of go for. Next one is be able to read fluently in Latin. So, I studied Latin at university. I can make out Latin quite well, but I can't sit down with a book and read it and understand everything. And I want to be able to do that, and it really annoys me that I can't. So I'd like to be able to do that. I'm unsure how I'm really going to make that happen. Again, these are just goals. I don't have an action plan to go along with it. That's not really what this exercise is about. But it's just a start. That would be amazing if I could do that by 2026. God, that's weird to think, isn't it? 2026. Wow. The next one, be able to drastically improve my listening comprehension in Italian. So, like I mentioned, I learned Italian. I can speak it quite well. Like most people, I can say most things in Italian quite happily. But my listening comprehension sucks. It's really bad. I really struggle to make out what people are saying. When I hear Italian spoken, it's really frustrating because I know how to go up and talk to them, but I can't really I really struggle to get a clean understanding of what they're saying a lot of the time. And I think it would be just amazing to be able to just understand Italian like my native tongue. Again, I don't really have any ideas about how to make this happen. I have a few things, I want to experiment with watching TV shows in English subtitles, Italian TV shows in English subtitles, because I have noticed that I speak a little bit of Russian, and my listening comprehension in Russian is actually quite good. I can make out Russian quite well, given how my level with it. And I think that's because I've spent so many hours watching sort of Russian content in English subtitles. I watched a lot of travel YouTube videos where they're traveling around Russia, people like Bold and Bankrupt, stuff like that. And there's a lot of that is he's speaking to Russians, in Russian, and there'll be English subtitles. And you'd think that'd be a rubbish way to learn the language because you can just rely on the English subtitles. But if you have especially if you have a basic knowledge, you start picking little words up here and there, he'll say "Здравствуйте," and it's okay, hello, yeah, that matches up there. Or "Можно," he'll start saying "Можно" every time he says "Can I do something?" Or "Спасибо," or sometimes he'll say "Спасибо вам большое," and you kind of work out, okay, "Спасибо" is thank you, "Vam," and then you hear "Vam" used in another context, and it's that must mean you, and then "Большой," that's used somewhere else, that must mean a lot, something like that. So the English sort of watching it with English subtitles just kind of allows you to sort of swim with armbands on. So I'm going to try that with Italian and see if it works. But apart from that, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to do that apart from just go out and live in Italy for 6 months, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do, but maybe, who knows. Nose breathing sorted. So, I mean, as you can probably see, I do wear these kind of nose strips at the moment, which look a bit ridiculous, but they massively sort out my ability to breathe through my nose. Like, my nose breathing is so much better because of these. I'd like to look into cleaning my nose a bit more. I used to do it quite a lot, but I didn't really get anywhere with it. It didn't really do much to me. But I know that you can get special sort of herbal remedies which help clean it out more. So I'd like to do a bit more of that. And long term, to be honest, it probably won't happen this year. But long term, I think I just have something wrong with my nose. I think I have like a deviated septum, which means that it's just really hard to breathe through my nose. And I should probably just go and get that fixed, like just get an operation on it, which is a bit extreme, but if that's a possibility to do as well. There's a documentary that I want to make that I won't talk about it in too much detail now because I want to keep it kind of quite secret, but I am going to make a documentary at some point. I would like to do that this year. It's not top of my list, but it would be great if I got around to doing it this year. I think this year is kind of the year to do it, because these things don't last forever. You want to kind of, there's a sort of moment in time that I want to capture that is not going to be around forever. So this is the year to do it. Wim Hof retreats. I practice Wim Hof quite a lot. But I do feel like it would be beneficial for me to go away somewhere and learn from the kind of experts on this sort of breathing technique. So that's another one that I'd like to do. Again, I'm not sure how I'm going to find the money to do it, when I'm going to find the time, stuff like that. And is it really top of my list? Maybe not, but it would be an amazing thing to do. Next thing is learn how to stop talking to people I'm not interested in spending time with. So again, this is just a really difficult one. How the hell am I meant to do that? That's a really difficult one, but I do notice I waste a lot of my time with people that, I shouldn't be spending time with. And it's annoying. It's really annoying. And I'd like to learn how to set bigger boundaries about when I want to work and when I want to socialize with people. Yeah, again, fuck knows how I'm going to do that. Probably just shit ton of journaling, but we'll see. Okay, next thing. The travel channel monetized and on at least 1,000 subscribers. So this is a bit of a weird one because you would have to be at 1,000 subscribers in order to be monetized. But what I mean by this really is I'd like to get above 1,000 subscribers in a year. I can tell you the exact number because I'm just obsessively checking it at the moment, which isn't great. But I'm currently on about 175, I think. And that could continue to go up. So I do think it's well within reach to hit 1,000. It's still quite a long way off, but it's not a million miles away. But I need to think about this. I might set another goal of kind of that's a bit more ambitious, of hitting 10k subs, maybe even 100k subs. They don't seem to be completely impossible to hit those kind of numbers. It might be a bit over ambitious, but yeah, who knows? That's a possibility as well. I need to have a think about which goal I'm going to set, but I definitely think hitting monetization is definitely achievable. The next thing I'd say is improve dress sense. So I wouldn't say I've got a bad dress sense, but I definitely don't spend enough money on clothes. Like a lot of the clothes that I wear, I'm not gonna lie, I've had them for years and years. And yeah, I think I need to spend a bit more time just improving my dress sense. I just think it makes you feel good about yourself, and you just feel better when you're wearing good clothes. Have some more powerful journaling experiences about various things. So there are some times in the past where I've journaled for a long time and I've really struck upon something. I've really sort of hit upon something really profound. And that's give me quite a cathartic release of like emotion. And they're quite rare, these moments, but they're very powerful when they happen, and I'd like to have a few more this year. So that's another thing. Next thing, again, this is kind of carried over from the last year. Go to Transnistria, Ukraine, Belarus, or Russia. Again, this is, this might not happen, but I would really like to travel to one of these countries at some point. I mean, Transnistria is not really a country, but you know what I mean. Yeah, a bit dangerous. I've still got to work out, is it worth the risk? How can I do it safely if I'm going to do it? Blah, blah, blah. But in principle, that's another one that I want to do. Again, Kegel exercises. I've just written here, sort out pissing problems. That's just another one I've carried over from last year. Unlocked right shoulder. Again, that's just talking about like the tension in my shoulder. That's just to do with the posture problems again. Become less easy to be talked into stuff. Again, how the fuck I'm going to do that, I'm not sure, but we'll see. And then there's this random sort of charity that I want to do, which is it's called the St. Francis Initiative, and it's basically going to be about it's going to be about this kind of random project I want to do, where it's basically going to be promoting sort of religious dialogue between all religions, but I want to focus specifically on Christians, Muslims, and Jews, just because they're the ones that don't get along, basically, the kind of Abrahamic religions. And I want to do this by basically doing kind of competitions between the Christians and the Muslims, or between the Jews and the Christians, or if we really get someone with it, maybe even the Jews and the Muslims. And I think we could do like football matches, maybe even like MMA fights or boxing or something, although boxing might be difficult because if someone does get killed doing that, that's not going to be very good. But maybe some what's it called, jiu-jitsu or something like that. I don't know, just a brief idea. Again, it's not top of my list, but it's still something to work on. And the next one is just 2 places I want to go to. So I want to do a holiday to Poland with my siblings at some point, because we have a bit of Polish ancestry that it would be cool to sort of go back and retrace our roots. And this is another one, lads holiday to, and I put here Ayia Napa/Ibiza or something like that. I went on a lads holiday. I'm not really like someone to go on like a lads holiday, really. Like, I don't really have that many laddie friends who like doing that kind of stuff. But I did one when I was in like university. No, just before university, like when I graduated from sixth form. And I just think it would be good to do another one at some point, just because I'm not going to be in my 20s forever. I'm not going to do one of these holidays when I'm in, when I'm like in my 30s, when I've got kids, stuff like that. And yeah, I just think when I went on that last holiday in sixth form, I kind of thought I would go on another one at some point. And yeah, I wouldn't mind going on another one at some point, just for the sake of it. Again, it's not top on my list, and I probably would rather prioritize one of the YouTube videos, like going away to, I don't know, Greece or Albania or something like that. But if the opportunity comes up, I'm not gonna say no. And that is pretty much everything, guys. The only thing I've done differently this year is I have got a bit of a timeline with it. So I've got sorted out into categories. I think there are 3 kind of categories to anything really. One is sort of health, so it's like the posture, stuff like that. One is sort of business, so it's the YouTube, making money, stuff like that. But I'm saying business very broadly. I think that includes creative projects. And then there's the sort of social thing, like friends, not wasting time with time wasters. I guess the holiday to Poland sort of comes under that as well. And my rough timeline is to sort of prioritize the business stuff first. You know, get 1K subs on this YouTube channel just as soon as you conceivably can. And because I just feel like once the YouTubes really get some traction, I'll just be able to kind of rest. Like my brain will just give me some time off, and I'll be able to focus more on kind of the other stuff, the kind of fun stuff. Actually, there's one more thing I think I'll add to this, which is just episodes of Dubrovnik released. And this time, so that's just the TV show I had in mind. And this time it will just be the full episode. So yeah, that's my plan for 2025. We're going to see how it pans out. Yeah, I'm very excited. This will come out on, it'll now be 2025 if you're watching this, but yeah, hope you had a good, it's the 31st today. I'm going to meet up with a friend later, sort of, you know, maybe go to the pub, and sort of see the new year. And I hope whatever you did, watch, you know, in the new year was fun. And I really encourage you to try this exercise yourself, because it's one of the highest ROI activities you can possibly do. Just set some goals in this video for this year, because if you don't, you just won't get anything done that you want to. You'll just kind of be a sort of leaf, sort of floating around in the wind. So I really recommend you do that. And yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Yeah, see you later.